Hey guys, welcome back to Sow Love. Thank you so much for being here today. Today I'm going to plant some tomato plants in some grow bags that I got from Dollar Tree. I've been doing some different experiments in the garden with those grow bags, just to kind of see how it goes. So I planted out all of my tomato plants. I'll give you a tour on what that's looking like. But the way that I'm planting them in the grow bags is the same way I planted them in the hole. So you'll get to see how I actually planted those today. So what I'm going to do is use the grow bag, which you can see is quite large. I've showed you guys these before. When you're planting in large pots, in large containers, you don't have to fill them with all of your really good soil. So what I'm going to do is put about maybe a little less than halfway of the way of the bag. I'm going to use those leaves that I've been saving, and what those will do is break down and it also enrich the soil and hopefully provide the tomato plants with some good compost as the season progresses. So I am going to also put some fertilizer in each hole. So this is what I'm using. And this is what I'm pretty much experimenting with this year. It is a, what is this? A 253. So I will supplement with some fish emulsion just to give it a little bit of extra nitrogen as I'm planting things in. And so these are some tomato plants that I have started from seed. I had a few extra, and I just wanted to see how these do in the grow bag versus in the actual soil. So I have banana legs, an unknown. Guys, those terrible, I can't say enough about those terrible labels, but nonetheless, a red pear, and I have an Aunt Ruby. So we'll see how these do in these grow bags. I'm actually going to put 2 in each grow bag, which, you know, could be a little close, but again, I'm experimenting, so we'll see. So I'm going to go ahead and add my leaves into the bottom of this bag. Going to go ahead and water that in. And then I'm going to go ahead and add some soil. Which, if you've seen my other videos, just a reminder of what's in this. There's blackkow, compost, peat moss, perlite, the azomite rock minerals, and worm castings. I believe that's it, and a little bit of topsoil. If you don't have topsoil, you can actually use a little bit of your native soil also. So of course, the benefit of not using all of your good soil, it does save you some money, but it's also your composting in place. So you get that added benefit as well. I'm making a mess. A little bit more. That's pretty good. So I'll go ahead and water that in as well. Now, cool thing is you control how tall these bags are. You can just roll these down a little bit. That way you can allow some sun to get to your plant as well. And of course, being that you're growing in a grow bag, you can move these to wherever you want to move them. So I'm going to go ahead and add some of this fertilizer in the hole. And I'll put 1, 2 there. I'll move a little bit closer so y'all can see. All right. So what I can do is, you know what? I actually might experiment with adding all 4 in here just to see how it goes. And then what I can do is maybe another grow bag where I'm experimenting with just 2. So I'm going to add a little bit more soil in here since I'm doing 4. So I know there were some gardeners that probably flinched twice, maybe 3 times, when I said I was going to add 4 tomato plants in here. But again, sometimes it's cool to break the rules. You learn things, allow experimenting to go on in your garden. Because again, that's how we learn. So if I were to stick to all the rules all the time, there would be no growth in this cool gardening process. All right, so 1, 2, 3, 4. And I have some marigolds that I started from seed that I'm going to also add in this bag, and I might sow some nasturtium seeds in here as well. So I just did about a handful, and I'm going to mix that around into the hole. So here's my tomato plant. You can see it's not that tall, but it does have its true leaves on it, and it has the first leaves. So I'm going to go ahead and pinch those off because those at this point are not needed. So I'm going to pretty much plant this up to where the true leaves start. Y'all know that tomato plants, all those little tiny hairs on the plant will eventually form roots. So I'm going to plant this nice and deep. And if this were taller, I would do the same thing. I would clip off some of the bottom leaves and plant it all the way up to where those true leaves start. So there's Aunt Ruby. I'm gonna go ahead and add in the red pear. Pinch off those bottom leaves. And I can easily come in and keep mounding up the soil as this plant gets a little bit taller. And of course, these are indeterminate tomatoes, so meaning they can get quite tall. I'm going to go ahead and pinch off this bottom leaf, bottom stem here. This is my unknown baby. So we'll see what that bears. So I will stake these later on, is what I was saying. My banana legs, let's pop him out, pinch off the first leaves, and get him on in here. All right, there's that one. So at this point, I'm actually going to go ahead and plant some marigolds. So marigolds are great companion plants as they help to deter, well, they help to attract predatory insects into your garden that will help to eat those bad insects. So I'm going to go get my marigolds. And these I winter sowed in this container, and I have like a bunch of marigolds. These are double French. I planted these out on the 20th of March. So those got nice and full. So I'm gonna just take 5 out carefully. Let's see, I can make these out right here. I'll show you how to do that. So I'm just gonna take my finger in and kind of scoop it out as gently as I can. I'm gonna add a little bit of the fertilizer in for these as well. Just mix that around. So I think I got exactly 5. These are some seeds that I got from the Dollar Tree. So if you are hesitating on buying seeds from the Dollar Tree, stop because they are really good seeds. Germination rate on those is really good. Since I have 2 more, I'll go ahead and add these in as well. All right, so 1, 2, let's put 2 in the middle. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All right. So there is my tomato grow bag experiment. So let me take you around the garden just so you can see the other tomatoes that I planted out. I haven't planted any other marigolds yet, but I will be doing that in the coming week. All right, so I planted some more seeds because these are varieties I wanted to really see exactly what they look like, and some of my labels came off and faded. So triple crop, champagne bubbles, Paul Robeson, hillbilly creole, green doctors, Dr. Witchies, and atomic grape. So these are all going to come up from seed, and these are some, and you can see I planted fairly close, but I am going to train these to be on a single stem. I'll come behind and reinforce these with a stake in the garden. And I'll do another video on that as these get taller. But here's one row. Here's some more. And you can see there's this garden fence that is down the middle. And here's a row of tomatoes here. It was so exciting planting the first tomato. I know gardeners everywhere have been waiting to plant tomatoes, and I did another row right there. So again, they're fairly close, but I'm going to be pretty diligent about training them up a single stem. And here's another row here, which I might have to end up replacing this guy, but I have some more on reserve. So one thing too, guys, is try to always keep a reserve of tomato seedlings or just seedlings for your garden, because you just never know what accidents or catastrophes might happen. And then you also want a succession plant. So you can see these tomatoes are much bigger than these. That's because these were started out earlier. And the idea is that while these are producing, these are still growing. And when the larger ones fizzle out, these will start producing. So succession plant all the garden things when you can. So that is pretty much where I am with things in the garden. I have peppers that I need to plant out. I have eggplant, I have okra, I have more melons to plant out. So now is the time to plant. The weather has been awesome. It looks great these next few weeks. So get in the garden if you're in zone 7B, zone 8A. The time to plant is now. So it's so exciting. So join in the fun. Thank you again for being here. Please do like, share, and subscribe. And join me on Instagram for more garden updates. And I'll see you in the next video. Bye, you guys.